Y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I'm Susan, your hostess. I am taking out some mixed vegetables that we purchased from our freezer. So this is hashtag freezer cleanout 24. And I've got 4 pounds of mixed vegetables. Now these contain lima beans. So you have to cook your vegetables or your lima beans will take forever from a dehydrate state to become soft enough to eat. I'm going to dehydrate these, but I'm going to cook them down. I'm going to get them in the dehydrator, and then I will show you the finished product. So when I'm dehydrating frozen vegetables like this is a mixed a lot of vegetables. I want to cook it till it's fork tender on the one that takes the longest to cook. So that would be the lima beans in this package. And then I'm going to drain them, let them cool off a little bit, and then I'm going to stick them into my dehydrator sheets, get them into my dehydrator, and then I will dehydrate them at 145 degrees for about 10 to 12 hours, or maybe a little bit longer, depending on how long it takes for them to crisp up and snap open. Once they reach that stage, I can jar them up and get them into my long-term storage and out of my freezer. How about that? And it makes an easy meal prep for when you're doing meals in jars, like your hamburger meals in jars, and your vegetables are already pre-cooked, so all you have to do is rehydrate them. That's the idea behind this. So let's get these things into the dehydrator, see how it goes. I've got our vegetables fork tender. Um, it is soft. I can eat it. Now I've got my squash over here getting it ready for the squash relish. So I've got my trays here, and I'm just going to take a cup at a time and try to spread this out as much as possible on the tray and as flat as possible. So maybe 2 cups per tray. We'll see how that goes. If I need to put more on there, I can. But you want to spread it kind of thin. And that's what it's going to look like. Now it's still warm, but it's not hot. I can handle it. And I'm going to do this with all my trays, and I'm going to get my dehydrator going, and then we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how this is doing. If it is ready for me to jar up, and then I can use it for homemade vegetable soup or many other items that won't take long for it to rehydrate. That's the purpose of doing it this way. So here goes the second tray. I'm probably going to have to go back in and put a little bit more on each one of the trays. So I'm going to lay this out as flat as I can. Here is my third tray. I'm actually going to pull up about a half a cup more and probably get this tray just really full and pull the other trays out and fill them up to the brim. So this is the fourth tray. So let's just pull out a tray at a time. I'm going to move food back from one side. And try to get all of this food on these dehydrator shelves. So I've made it a lot fuller. Got one more shelf. I'm going to move some food over, move it back over, and try to get the remaining of this on this shelf. All right. Make sure that it's pretty flat because I don't want the food rolling off as I'm putting it into the dehydrator. But there is the last shelf going back in. Get my front on. And I've already set it. I'm going to wipe the top of my dehydrator off because it did get wet with all the vegetables. And we're going to let this go until tomorrow. It's about 3 o'clock here in the afternoon, so by 3 a.m. it will be 12 hours. So by the time I get up in the morning, everything in there should be close to being dehydrated, if it's not already dehydrated. Well, y'all, it's day 2, and we're getting ready to remove the mixed vegetables from our dehydrator. We were going from the freezer to the dehydrator, and we're fixing to jar it up for long-term storage. So let's check out and see what has happened overnight. We've been on this for about 16 hours, so we'll see what we've got. Turn my unit off. I'm going to check this out. They look dry, y'all. They don't look as pretty as they did when they were in the thing, but what you want is your green beans to snap. And so I'm going to take these trays out and get them jarred up. And we're going to put all of this in this jar. Got a few pieces sticking. We're going to get that in there. And they are looking good, y'all. So I'm kind of raking them to the middle of my sheet here. It just makes it easier to get it into the jar. And then I've got a few pieces that wants to stick, so I'm just going to go over it with my hand and loosen it up and get that into the jar as well. Looking good, looking good. Let's put the jar up here out of the way. I have a very small kitchen, y'all. So this is a good way to use products that you buy in the store and get them out of your freezer. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about going back and getting some of this just to can up to have on my pantry shelf. But I really don't need it on the pantry shelf because I've got it in the dehydrated form. So let's get this off the sheet. One more sheet, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Y'all remember how many pounds this was? This was 4 pounds of vegetables. 2 great big long bags of vegetables. I'm probably going to be picking up some broccoli and other things to dehydrate that I can't seem to grow where I'm at. So this will be a great way to get it into my pantry and have some fresh vegetables that I can use any time of the year. This jar, I think, is a little more than a quart. So you would get approximately 1 quart out of 4 pounds of vegetables. And you want to allow these to cool a little bit. And you want to leave them out on your counter for a few days so you can make sure that there's no moisture in there. I couldn't find my oxygen absorbers this morning, so we're just going to throw a bay leaf in here for now. I'm going to get in there later on and find my oxygen absorber and get it into this jar. So there it is, folks. And you want, when you're checking them, you want to make sure that they're all moving and they're not sticking to the side of the jar or anything like that. Wonderful product to have on your pantry shelf. We went from frozen vegetables to dehydrated vegetables within 16 hours. I probably could have taken them off sooner, but I like to go the little extra time just to make sure they're fully dehydrated. So y'all remember, you're going to flip your jars for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, to make sure that there's no spoilage happening in that jar. I am going to put an oxygen absorber in here as soon as I find them on my pantry shelf. I've got to go in there and look. And I have mixed vegetables that I can put into soups, stews, meals in jars, a number of dishes, adding a little bit of nutrition value to everything that I cook. So thank you, my friends, for watching, and may you be fully blessed.